Here is the Hops Zacian deck list here. First, we'll start off with the Hops package. We got 2 Hops Zacian, 2 Hops Cramorant, and 2 Hops Snorlax. Now, this is pretty standard for all the Hops packages you'll see. This is your early game attacker. His ability Insta Strike, and it does 30 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So non-Terra Pokemon, small Pokemon like Dragapult or Ralts. A lot of people would pair this up with Iron Valiant, but as you'll see, I have a different way of playing this. So here we have the Hops Zacian, and then remember the Brave Slash ability. It's 240 and can't use it next turn, but it's 240 damage. And then the cool thing about Hops is there's a lot of damage modifiers. So this card, this isn't just 30 and 30. As you'll see, it'll be 30 plus 30. So typically you're hitting from 90 to 120 and then doing 30 damage to the bench. Very good in a format with 30 HP Pokemon like Joltik, but not always a card you want to knock out. So for that damage modifier here, we have the 2 Hops Snorlax. He has the ability Extra Helpings. Your Hops Pokemon do 30 more damage, and that counts towards itself. So its attack is also very relevant. It's awesome because it's a Pokemon that can attack. Dynamic Press 140, it does 80 damage to itself. With the extra full damage capability of this is 230 damage. You got the 30 extra damage from Extra Helpings and then from 2 other cards. He also does 80 damage to itself, which is worth noting. And then Hops Cramorant, this is one of the coolest cards in the deck. It does 210 max damage for free with the proper tool. The only caveat is that you have to have 3 or 4 prize cards remaining. If not, this attack does nothing. So you have to be wary putting this card down. You have to be very tactile and strategic. If you put this card down, especially early against a deck that knows how to punish you for this, this will be used against you like Maractus. We have 1 card to counteract that, but this card is and will be a card that loses you the game if you don't play it correctly. So that's Hops Cramorant. The next card we have is 2 Munkidori. This card is way too important in a meta dominated by Dragapult, but also you pair it up with Zacian, and you have some fun damage manipulation with Munkidori. Now you can't attack with Munkidori, not in this deck, but its Adrenabrain is too important to not have. Now for the fun part of the deck, we've got 1 Duraludon, which can attack, and then we have 2 Archaludon. Now, I've thought a lot about this deck, and this lineup should be 2-1, and I find we're taking early game KOs with Zacian, that I'm okay with having just 1 on the off chance I want to play Duraludon or I want to play Archaludon in the game. So this is, again, a very niche set of cards where you want to be careful playing it. You also want to time it correctly. Putting this guy down early as a bait is good. Putting him down late as, hey, if you don't kill him, I'm going to do this and slap you with an Archaludon later. Or you can evolve and then put together a Brave Slash and hit 330 damage. That's something that gets a lot of opponents by surprise. But this enables you to do that. It's also a threat, and people will fall for it if it's not even there. This is very good against something like Raging Bolt late game. Anything that can't hit those high numbers, Dragapult late game, anything like that. Any deck that has a tough time hitting those high numbers late game. For our support cards, we've got the Ursaluna, of course, Fezandipiti, and then Latias EX. Those are our EX supports. And then Iron Bundle. Iron Bundle is amazing in this deck. I have won so many games by just looping this with Night Stretcher. Iron Bundle, get a Zacian up there, Hop Snorlax. You can just, if they start off with a Badoo and you have this stream start, sometimes I know I'm playing against Dragapult, they show the Badoo. I'll Ultra Ball my whole hand away and I'll have this, and I'll guarantee myself a 2 prize knockout turn next turn, simply if they have Badoo and they don't put down a 2 prizer. Now, you don't want to fall bait for this 30 damage on those 30 HP guys. You want to remember your prize trade, how you can use that to your advantage. So if sometimes you don't want to take that knockout, but Iron Bundle is amazing in this deck, and once you play it, you'll see why. And then the last tech card, Genesect, might as well. The reason why I've had a lot of debate whether this should be Tatsugiri or Genesect, your Goldengo matchup is semi-difficult. Fair Stamp also devastates this deck, so having a Genesect, it really can protect you late game. Now to the supporters, we have 4 Arven. We want our items and we want our tools. It's pretty simple. 2 Iono, 2 Professor's Research, 2 Boss, and 1 Penny. Now Penny is really good. I've debated between Turo and Penny. The only case where you'd want Turo over Penny is on the Archaludon. But the Penny is really good because one of our finite resources that we can't recycle is our tools. So using a Penny on a Zacian when we can get our tool back has been really useful. And that's it for our supporters. We have a pretty quick supporter line there. Onto the items, we've got 4 Nest Ball. That's normal for our Munkidori, Genesect, Iron Bundle, any of our EXs. If we can't find a Hops bag, and we've got 3 Night Stretcher. I've debated having 2 Night Stretcher, but like I said, when you're looping that Iron Bundle, you need those Night Stretchers. And also, there's often times where you have to settle and use a Night Stretcher on energy, or you have to discard it with a Professor's Research. And late game, not having any of your pieces sucks. So having 3 Night Stretcher is a way to mitigate that there. 2 Hops bag, just to guarantee we get our Hops out there. Now this card says, if you're unfamiliar with it, it says, search your deck for up to 2 Hops Pokemon, put them onto your bench, and shuffle your deck. And again, you have to be aware of which Hops Pokemon you have to put out that turn. If you don't have to put a Cramorant out, don't. If you want to put 2 Cramorant out because they're knocking out your Zacian and you play a 1 board state, 1 single prize board state, that's something you do. If you need the damage, you need the Snorlax. It all depends on what you have in your hand. Now, 2 Earthen Vessel. This is strictly for the Archaludon and for the Munkidori. This is a fun, not all lists have the Earthen Vessels, heavy of a line of Earthen Vessels, but I find that early game, you want to get your energies into the discard as fast as possible. I often discard a Metal Energy for a Metal and a Darkness, just to have the Munkidori option. But it's really fun having this card, because sometimes you whiff the tool, and you need an energy anyway to attach for your first attack. So it's just a way to guarantee you get that attack off your first turn going second. Next, just an extender, Pokégear 3.0. This was 3, but it's better to have 2. I've toyed with not having the gears at all and running Tatsugiri instead of Genesect, and then bumping up to 3 Iono and 3 Research. But honestly, like I said, late game hand disruption really kills you. And Tatsugiri is good in theory, but your bench is totally filled by the end of the game, as long as you're playing correctly. And having that spot taken up by Tatsugiri really stinks. You want to have multiple threats. You want to overwhelm your opponent with this deck. So, and then just another discard option and search option. We have 1 Ultra Ball. 1 Counter Catcher. It's very niche. You're often ahead in this deck, but if you're not, Counter Catcher is awesome. It's like that. It's just a free boss. And then the holy grail of the deck, the Secret Box. This card is amazing. Learning when to use this card and how to use this card effectively in this deck will win you games. When you have tempo in the turns, if your opponent is playing Dragon Ball and you read they have a terrible hand, you can just play the crap out of your hand, set your hand up with 1 card left. There have been so many times where I've used this card and I've just devastated my opponent's board state, and the only card left in my hand is 1 Research, and it feels so good. So just being able to use this to get to search your tools, your item, your supporter, and a stadium. And that's everything you need for Hops. Now for the tools, we've got 1 rescue board, pairs with the Genesect, but it's also good for a Munkidori. You could put it onto a Duraludon, attach, retreat, and then that effectively gets you 1 more energy for Assemble Alloy in your discard. Get it on a Munkidori. You can also attach, you really want to not put it on your Hops Pokemon, because you'd rather have the 4 Hops choice bands, which says attacks used by your Hops Pokemon do 30 more damage and cost 1 colorless energy less. This card is awesome. I had 3 in here, but you have to have 4. And using Penny effectively, you can reuse them. I also forgot to mention Penny's good for Ursaluna, but The Hops Choice Band is amazing. You have to have it. You ideally want to attach that to your Zacian turn 1. You're already hitting 60 and 30. Hops Choice Bag, that adds another 30 with the Snorlax. You're just hitting the numbers you want to hit. And then, not as important, but also very important, the Postwick. This is now 3. It's searchable from the Secret Box, so it's good to have stadium bumps in this meta. It's just a damage modifier. You tend to want it, but also you don't always need it when you have the Choice Band and the Snorlax, so it's just good to have. The card that I really love in this deck is this card. This used to be a one-off, but I had to put it to 2. Your Raging Bolt matchup is already terrible. If you don't have this card against Raging Bolt, it sucks. You need to have this card. You need a fight to have it out, especially since Raging Bolt doesn't run high stadium counts. Also, Goldengo, 20 damage that this does is really significant. And it's also really fun because you also take damage. So you got instant Munkidori value with this. So there have been times where like you Secret Box and you've searched this and you place this down before you put that Darkness Energy on your Munkidori, just so you can have some damage. And then if that stays out, you can keep farming up damage and you can start manipulating damage however you really want, especially with this 30 damage here. So it's really fun. That card is amazing. Now 5 Steel Energy for Archaludon and Hops Zacian, and 2 Darkness Energy. That's the list. I've played this to a couple challenges. I'll be playing it at a few cups, and I've got cash prizing in both. I think with both this deck, you really just have to have the long-term vision. How am I attacking with my Cramorant? How am I attacking with my Zacian? You need to be able to mold your board to single prize board states to get the most cram value if it's good for that matchup. The timing is everything in this deck. Something like Secret Box, when do you put your Genesect down? When do you put down 2 Zacian? These 3 are big baits. Sometimes you don't want to put these down because you need to stay in that single prize board state. You just let a Duraludon sit on your bench until you can evolve it, or you use that as a bait. It's all about the timing with this deck. So that's the deck list. Maybe play a test hand here and then we'll get into some games. Just want to show you the power of Secret Box here. So this is going second. Assuming you start with Munkidori, draw, we get the Cram. We want to get our deck check. You're going to use the Hops bag. So we're going to grab that here, and we're going to grab our boys. And then you also you want to use this Earthen Vessel like I mentioned before. You're going to use that here. You're going to discard its own energy, and we're going to find ourselves Steel in a Dark, Metal in a Dark, just for the monkey option for monkey next turn. And then we're going to Arven, or here we got Secret Box. You could get a rescue board. You could use the Nest Ball for Latias. Either one works. So we're going to get that rescue board. And now before we attach, remember, we want to wait. We're going to keep, you could keep the Nest Ball. We're definitely going to get rid of these. Remember, this is finite, so you need to keep those. So we're going to get rid of those. And we're going to wait to attach the Darkness Energy, because we're going to get our boy, Calamitous Snowy Mountain. You can get a supporter for next turn. We just want to use the crap out of our hand. Since we got our Metal Energies out, now we can get another Nest Ball. And we're going to grab another tool. Now, we're gonna go here, put 20 damage on the monkey. We can put our Choice Band here, and then we can Nest Ball, and we can get a Duraludon. Or we can hold on to that, but that's the turn. We're now doing a lot of damage. We got the monkey online. We got 2 Metal Energy in, so now our Duraludon is a legitimate threat. You're 2 attachments away per turn on the Snorlax to attack. And we got 1 card in hand, and that's a research. So that's like the best hand ever right there. Especially if you're taking a knockout. You could Nest Ball for an Iron Bundle and get a 2 prize knockout if they put a 30 HP Pokemon down. You take 2 prizes and you still got a research in hand. So that's an ideal hand right there with Secret Box. And for the first game here, we have a Donk, so this one will go pretty fast. This is a fun thing to do with the deck. Like I said before, if there's a Badoo, it's really easy, but here we got everything we could want, possibly. We could even set up a Munkidori, since we have the Hops bag. We could just get a Nest Ball off the Arven. Could set up a Genesect, but here, this is what we want to see. Even though my opponent sees that I have the Zacian EX, doesn't matter. I have the Arven, checking to see if I have the Secret Box, which I do, which is my Stadium Search, which is enough. Gets me to 120 with the Snorlax, the Choice Band, and the Postwick. That's a Donk. On to our second game here. We are against Raging Bolt. Now, I don't like starting the Cram or any Hops Pokemon if I don't have to. I don't want to show the opponent that I'm playing Hops in case I can Donk. So starting the Monkey is fine. I tend to like, I have the rescue board here, so it's okay. If you have an Earthen Vessel, it's good. If you have a Metal Energy, it's also good because you get to put them into the discard. You have a pretty good hand here with Secret Box. It's just, what do we discard? Everything is pretty high value here, especially if we prize a Cram, a Boss. The rescue board is a one-off, but we run a lot of two-offs, so we have to be mindful of what we prize. It's good that my opponent on their first turn is taking their time. Lets me think about this. It all also depends on my top deck. Gotta get the Terra Pokemon out to enable the Noctowl engine. Now, in Raging Bolt matchups, it's okay to hit them for less. Now, my opponent putting their Bravery Charm on the Ogerpon is not good. I'm not sure what they're doing that for. Maybe they think they're playing against Guardy or something. But that's the benefit of playing just the Monkey and not showing your hand. But regardless, the Bravery Charm is the best on the Raging Bolt there. Now I do this Pokégear just to see if I get an Arven or something. I grab the Iono. I actually don't, I don't think. Because I believe I'm going to be finding a Professor's Research to extend my hand here. So remember, the Choice Band is a finite resource, so I'm opting to keep that. Since I have the Monkey online and I'm already hitting for less, I'm okay with the Snowy Mountain. Just putting down everything that I have. Now I don't get the Dark Energy, which is fine, but I still get value from the Storm by putting it on to the Snorlax, which is a really, really good attacker in this matchup. It hits 230. Use the Monkey to fix the damage, especially since they didn't use the Bravery Charm. We got a decent hand here. An Ultra Ball would be nice. Actually, my hand is pretty dead. I do follow up with the Snorlax attack, which is something. But here we could see the Snowy Mountain getting some value here. Use a Noctowl Jewel Seeker ability. Really, really good ability. It's going to be stopped soon by the Rockets cards that are coming out, but at the moment it is ridiculous. Searches 2 items or 2 trainers. So any item, tool card, supporter card, stadium card. Iron Bundle is not as valuable in this matchup unless they only bench 2 prizes, which they never do. So we're not really looking to use Iron Bundle here. We're also not really looking to put Latias down unless we absolutely have to. Since we have the rescue board on the Monkey, I don't really think we need Latias because we always have a retreat option. So we're okay with ditching the Iron Bundle and the Latias, and then we run 2 of the Archaludon, so I'm not crazy about it. We have a dead hand here. So we're just going to go ahead, and they did not knock out, which is very surprising. So we're going to just take the knockout. We're going to start the prize trade here, and this actually puts us in a really, really good position because now we're in knockout. Even if they get a Bravery Charm with a Monkey and the 20 damage on the Snorlax, we're able to knock out a Raging Bolt with a Bravery Charm since they already have 30 on. I'm sorry, we're 10 damage short, which honestly isn't the worst. They don't get Fez. We're still single prize board state at that point. But for now, we're expecting the knockout on the Zacian, which is what we want them to do. We always want them to take a knockout on our Zacian. Kind of force them to take that. That's another part of this deck is when are you okay with your opponent taking a knockout? And in most cases, you are 100% okay with your starting Zacian getting knocked out. So that's what they're doing here. They anticipate, they see the Snorlax, so they're going to discard this energy off their Raging Bolt here, which makes sense. Now, I could punish that with a boss, which I unfortunately don't have, by just bossing up the other Raging Bolt, and then they got no energy. But we do see the Dark Energy, which is awesome. Like I said, we don't need any of those, so those are just instant fodder. And we're going to set up our Cram. And I'm debating whether I put my Fez down. I don't. I want to stay in that single prize board state. And I actually really like my hand right now. Even though it looks dead, I'm asking them to KO my Snorlax. So one, I'm getting a 2-prize knockout. I'm going down to 2 prize cards. They knock out my Snorlax. I have the Metal Energy attachment for turn. I assemble Alloy, and then I have a fully powered Archaludon. And that was strictly through Snorlax. I didn't have to discard anything. That's why the Ultra Ball is a one-off in this deck. You tend to not need to discard. You don't need it. You have discarding options through Earthen Vessel, discarding options through Retreating, which is probably the one I use the most. And then also just, you know, attaching and then getting knocked out. You can see our opponent is putting up a single prize board here. Now, my opponent makes a bad mistake at the end of this game. I know they have the Prime Catcher and they have Latias, so they're ready. They kind of have me in dead to rights here. They're going down to 3 prizes, but they're certainly in a good position with 11 cards in their hand and free retreat and a Prime Catcher. So now they have 3 prize cards to take. The energies don't really matter here, just thinning the deck before I do anything. I know this is a weird one. Let's see what I choose. Grab the Arven, probably for the Fez, because I'm allowed to, now that I can put my 2 prizers out. The Arven I needed also for the Choice Band. I already had the Snorlax in hand, and I have Postwick out, so I'm hitting what I need. Counter Catcher is not active, so I kind of have to just, I think I'm debating evolving, because why not? I'm thinking about, I could Night Stretcher into a Zacian and then assemble Alloy there, but I'm opting to get this bundle. I probably shouldn't have done that, but here's the mistake. They, for some reason, put up their Latias EX, which I hit the perfect number on. And yeah. Into our third game here, we are against Archaludon. No poison package, just Archaludon and Scyther. Now, this was a fun game, went down to the wire. Gives me a thumbs up here. Give him a smile because we both see the Duraludon in the active. Little does he know I am not a Archaludon deck. I am a Hops Zacian deck with Munkidori. Maybe a little bit of Archaludon in the mix, but I have a killer hand. Got a couple mulligans. This is the scenario where you put a rescue board and a Steel Energy onto your Duraludon and retreat. It's not too shabby. Got the mountain. Now I'm eyeing down that Scyther. I want to start the prize map. I want to make it awkward. I want to put 30 damage on that Duraludon, so I'm going to figure out how I can do that. Cram is a really good attacker in this matchup, so I'm going to opt to do that. getting some storm value there. Put the Snorlax down. I know I'm hitting 90. I don't need the secret box, so this is a time where I could have done it, but since I had the stadium already and I had all the other pieces, it's fine. Got the bundler. And we're knocking that guy out. We're putting 30 damage. We're putting pressure down. And what this does is if their hand is dead, it forces them to put down a Fez, which we'll see here. And watch what they discard. One boss for a Fez. And they still don't have enough energy in the discard. So it puts them in a really, really awkward position. And I think the value of Zacian EX right now is that early game pressure that you could put on your opponents. The meta is really slow right now. So being able to make your opponent go faster. And here they are discarding a second boss. But having them go fast is really good. I mean, he's on a countdown here. I'm knocking out his only Duraludon next turn. So he's got to get one out. Or a Archaludon. Here we see another Ultra Ball discarding his third boss. His second energy, but his third boss. And he did get the other Duraludon, but he's got 2 cards in hand. Let's see what's going on here. He has not supported yet. Or he has. Okay, so... And he's not even knocking out. So I have an Iono in hand. I have a boss in hand. There's a lot going on that I want to do with this hand, but my fodder, I don't have the fodder for it. So, again, the Night Stretchers are really important, but sometimes you just got to get rid of it. I'm actually getting my monkey out online because I have a lot of damage on the board, and I have the Dark Energy. So I am okay with that. I'm getting a lot of value from the Storm and the monkey. Now I'm thinking about this Iono. I choose not to. I mean, I'm reading my opponent's hand here. Just because I have the card and it's my last card in hand doesn't necessarily mean that I have to play it. This is total feel call. I mean, he got rid of 3 boss's orders. Of course, in his 3 cards that he's got here, he's got, you'll see in a second, but I'm not upset with how I played that hand. I think holding on to the Iono was good. I mean, he's got a Duraludon, an Archaludon, and 1 card in hand right now. So I feel that I'm in a commanding position, especially with a follow-up on a Cram if I get it. Even though he takes 2 prizes. But now I see this Night Stretcher. Do I need to use it? Not really. So I'm going to hold on to it. I'm just really hoping for a tool, the Choice Band. Secret Box gets me everything I possibly need. And here again is just another scenario where, like, yeah, he took a knockout, but do I want to use Fez? No. I want to be able to stack those attacks with my Cram. So we're just setting up our hand, doing what we need for this turn and next turn. So everything here we're going to use. We're going to end off with a... We're going to keep the Night Stretcher probably. If I need to loop the Cram, if I want the Fez. But here we can see how the Munkidori has helped us. We are now able to take that knockout. It is a little awkward with that 3 prize there, but... And that's an argument for the beginning. Maybe I didn't need to take out that Scyther, because now I'm forced to take a 7 prize game. That's something I actually should think about. The Scyther is dangerous though, with the amount of Pokemon that have abilities, especially late game. I mean, you have Snorlax, you have Monkey, you have Bloodmoon Ursaluna, Fezandipiti, so that thing can hit high numbers if you let it. But here we can see he's just got a massive hand from Fez. Maybe grabbing an Iono rather than the Research would have been better. But we'll see. He's got a lot of resources gone though. That's one thing. And he doesn't have a Duraludon. That's the biggest thing. He does have a Monkey. Let's see if he puts down the Duraludon. If he does, it's good. If he doesn't, I'm looking for the Zacian Assemble Alloy play. That Pal Pad must feel nice after discarding those. But it's better that he does that and not the Turo. Here he is looking for. He's probably looking to kill that Archaludon. Again, he's in a pickle. All single prize boards. Here he hits an Iono, and he Ionos me. So, see what I get. Not much. Now, kind of forced to put up the monkey here. We don't know who we're attacking with yet. We got the Penny, which is not ideal, so we really need something here. Research is good. It sucks getting rid of the Penny, but that's what we got to do. And here we just absolutely whiff. Staring at my hand here, you could Night Stretcher for... Yeah, there's that Night Stretcher for the Fez. I almost forgot about that. There you go. And hopefully we get an out. Okay, we do get an out. It's not what we want, but we can Nest Ball for a Cram since we've only used one. It's not prized. And then attach an energy for turn. Now, this was a mistake. I needed to put the damage off the monkey onto the Archaludon. But it actually weirdly comes into play next. So call it a heads up play if you want. It's actually crazy how it actually doesn't come into play. We'll see though. Gets another Duraludon down, which he really needed. I was looking for the Archaludon. If I hit the Archaludon there, that would have been a KO on his Archaludon, because I could evolve my Duraludon, Night Stretcher for the Zacian, or Nest Ball for the Zacian. I had the Metal Energy for attachment, and then Assemble Alloy. Now that I think about it, I didn't have it. Needed the choice band, but still, that's just something you guys should look for when playing this deck. That with the Postwick and the Snorlax, that thing is KOing everything. Not everything. Maybe with the monkey. 360 with the monkey. Here we see a Full Metal Lab. Kind of threw me for a loop. I do have the Stadium, but I actually can use Full Metal Lab to my advantage if I do get an Archaludon out. He hyperblowers me. I don't want him to take a knockout here, so I'm going to put up not my monkey, not my Fez, but my Ursaluna. It's a little risky, and he punishes me for it, which, you know, is fine. I have Iono. He's got the Relicanth, so this is where I thought the damage came into play, but I remember he got the knockout. I do have Iono, and I do feel that if I don't knock it, and I also have Counter Catcher. So I'm really looking for the Archaludon, so I can Counter Catcher the Fez, Iono him to 1, and call it a day. And not take a knockout. I mean, their draw is... That puts me in a really good position where they only need a boss, but they do have 2 boss in the deck if they only run 3. So here I'm seeing the Vision, Night Stretcher, or not Night Stretcher, just checking the deck, see what's going on here. See what I have. I like the Night Stretchers there. I see my Archaludons. I need a Night Stretcher or an Earthen Vessel to get my energy back into play. I need an attachment for turn. So I'm just going to go all in here because I feel that this is my window. Seeing if I can thin my deck in any other way. Should I put down the Stadium? I decide no, because if I put the Archaludon out, he's pretty damn tanky. Now, I want to thin the deck out first. I don't want to thin it out, actually. I just Iono'd everything to the bottom. Now I want to grab the energy. I just got everything I needed. So here we go. Assemble Alloy. I put him to 1. And he needs a lot to go right here. And just thin the deck out a little bit. Just good odds. Keep the Full Metal Arena in play. Now I'm in a really good position. My opponent has 1 card in hand. He's drawing 1 more card. And he's thinking hard about what he's got. I'm assuming because he puts this Duraludon up, which is a spoiler, I'm assuming he's got an Archaludon in hand. And then he top decks the one card he needed. And he took his time. But he got the Archaludon. Probably was checking the energy in the discard. He got the 2, the retreat. And I thought he was just giving me the win, but he actually just top decked the boss. But there's nothing you could do about that. I felt that I did my best there. So, yeah. And here's the list. Just to remind you, it is so much fun. You guys got to play this list. The Secret Box is a game changer. A lot of lists run Prime Catcher, but Secret Box makes it do what you want whenever you want. You get to loop that Iron Bundle when you want. You get to put that Choice Band up with either Stadium, Hops Bag. Great list. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and try out the list. I'll link it in the description. Thanks, and have a good one.